We're the Bunn sons, Riley and Owen. We're true Canadian race friends who proudly support Laps for MD. Laps for MD is a racing charity whose drivers donate $1 for every lap they lead during the season. Visit lapsformd.blogspot.com for more information on the program, its drivers, and the founder, our friend Brad Miller.
Welcome, race fans, to the Stickers and Scuffs podcast with Cam K and Graydon Bunn. True Canadian race fans. This show is presented by Remax Jack. Call Remax Jack and start to pack. Green flag is out. Let's get this podcast underway.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Stickers and Scuffs podcast with Cam K and Graydon Bunn. Today we have the Wick Kid taking over the number 20 for 22 Racing in combination with TJ Rinamato and Mark Dilley. Treyten Lapcevich is on the show. Treyten, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, this has got to be a very exciting time for you. An announcement of a full-time effort with the NASCAR Pinty Series. Not only with that, but you've also got some sponsorship with that. You've got full-time attempt at a championship. How cool has this last couple of weeks been?
The last couple of weeks has definitely been really exciting, and announcing the number 20 for 22 Racing. Just really excited to get going with the year. Great group of guys over at 22 Racing, and then I got Wick and RGC who joined together to make a great co-primary sponsorship in supporting me for my first full season in the NASCAR Pinty Series. So just really exciting.
You've got lots of tracks to choose from. Which one are we most excited for, Treyten?
I'd say like tracks I've already been to. I'm really excited for Flamborough with the NASCAR Pinty Series. I always had a lot of success there in the APC car. I finished runner-up there after leading a lot of the race, and I've also won there a few times in the street stock. But I'd got to say I'm pretty excited to run Chaudier too. It's one that my brother really liked, and one that I definitely want to try too.
One of the best races out there was your brother against Alex side by side for 30, 40 laps to end that. I know Alex came out on top that night, but maybe this time we'll change that, right? And park a Lapcevich in victory lane.
Yeah, that was a really exciting race.
What all have you driven in your young career, Caden? Or Treyten?
That's going to happen quite a bit.
Oh my God. I am so sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Well, I started in the quarter midgets for a few years there, moved up to the mini stock at Sunset Speedway, raced that at a couple different tracks till moving up to the street stock, which I only ran for a season. Then from there, it was the Pro Late model for a few years. And last year, I also got to test an Outlaw Super Late model with my brother there.
Nice.
Bobby, he had two identical cars. There's me and my brother. We planned on racing the next day, but they got out, so I didn't actually get to race. But and then just the Pinty's car along with that too.
Man, that would have been so cool.
It would have been really cool. It was a really cool track too. We did it at Bearfield in Indiana. Really bumpy. It was a half mile, very fast.
Cool. I mean, at least getting to share some laps with your brother. I mean, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was really cool on the test day.
Nice.
Yeah, your brother actually, from coming to win the championship, running down south now, doing late models. Is that something that you see yourself following that same track, hopefully winning the championship and then potentially racing down south?
Yeah, I probably do hope to go down south at some point. You know, it's a whole different atmosphere down there. The couple times I've been down there for the Snowball Derby and that, which Caden did pretty good. And the Snowball Derby is definitely one I have circled in the future too. I'd really like to go there and race.
Yeah, it seems like a race that the Lapceviches would do very well at. You know, the APC series has been where you've kind of been the last couple of years. One of the most phenomenal racing series in, you know what, I would say in the world, really. The racing is phenomenal, fantastic racers. Who's helped you along the way in that series? Because it seems like it's filled with veteran drivers.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people help me. Initially buying the car off Sean Chenoweth and Mike Schmidt at LRR, and that's really who helped us the most getting started in the Pro Late Model Series. And then we had Robbie Thompson come along, who who definitely helped a little bit with his pro late model experience and the business side of things too. And from there, the guys at Mike McCall at McCall Racing and them, and the guys who race for him, Joe Lawrence, and it's really all guys like that helped us with the late model stuff, because our family didn't really have a lot of experience with the late model stuff initially getting started. We've always been more kind of like the street stocks and the Pinty series, stuff like that. And it's all different transitioning over to the pro late model. You got a lot more suspension components in the front, like the bump springs and that we had never really seen before. And truthfully, it's really just these last couple of years that we've really got the hang of things, which have really started to translate it into the better results in the late model field.
It's impressive. I mean, it's got to be a pretty steep learning curve. It's trial by fire, right? You're getting thrown in and figuring out what works and what doesn't. And then when you are competitive and bring home those results, that's got to feel pretty gratifying.
Yeah, that's really been it. We've just been building a notebook, and we build on it every year, and we've just been improving every year with the late model, really. And
that's what you like to see, right? Is just improvement at least, and then at least you're going somewhere.
Yeah, it's now like these years we pretty much show up to the track with something that's it's tuned to get around the track at least, and then we get to focus on making it faster instead of whereas we were starting really rough from scratch before and just not much to it.
Right.
There's definitely, starting off with that series with APC, fantastic, street stocks, fantastic, mini stocks even, but it's all oval tracks.
Yeah.
Pinty series, you're going to be going road course racing. What's your feelings towards that, Treyten?
Well, I have no road course racing experience at all. The only road course driving I've done is at the recreational go-kart track. But I've had a lot of success on road courses, and Caden was really good on road courses, even for the little amount of time he had on road courses too. So nonetheless, I got a lot of people to bounce ideas off of and get feedback from to improve.
I mean, your dad did win some pretty impressive races in, I want to say 2003 and 2002, maybe. I know Toronto, I believe they won there, and then of course some big races at CTMP. Let's talk about that experience as a son of a racer. The Tim Hortons, famous Tim Hortons car, one of the best paint schemes out there. What was that like growing up? And, did you always feel like racing was where you wanted to go?
Yeah, I really did. I played other sports growing up, but racing was always a thing that I gravitated towards. I always enjoyed being at the racetrack. I enjoyed traveling around the United States running quarter midgets. That was a ton of fun to get my feet wet in racing, really. And then just really being at my dad's side through while he was racing NASCAR and the Canadian Tire Series and the Pinty Series too. So I got a lot of experience in that sense, watching races, and then with Caden in the Pinty Series too. I was always right in there at the shop working on it with him, and then at the track as well.
Perfect lead into the Lapcevich name in what originated as NASCAR and has now evolved to the NASCAR Pinty Series. I mean, you're part of a long line of Lapcevich family members. Just talk about it seems right when there's a Lapcevich in the Pinty Series. So just kind of talk about that a little bit, Treyten.
Yeah, I mean, there really has been for a lot of years. These last couple of years are, from what I know, the first time in a while where there has been a Lapcevich in it. In it. Nick, my uncle Jimmy, Caden, my dad. So yeah, it's really cool. There's been a lot of success shared between all of them, and everyone kind of excels in their own thing. Really, my dad was always the better one on the road courses, and from the videos I've watched, my uncle was really good on the ovals, and I'd have to say Caden definitely excelled in the ovals as well. So Caden definitely he's got a lot of experience that he can share with me, getting used to the cars and getting it good for the long run of things, because a lot longer races than I had been doing in APC and that.
Well, you might not have notebooks, but you got bloodlines, if nothing else.
You got a call last year to drive the 18 in the NASCAR Pinty Series, normally occupied by one of Canada's most recognized faces in Alex Tagliani. Take us back into finding out that name. And was he the one to talk to you about taking over the ride?
Well, first of all, that was really exciting. Hearing from Scott and Tag. Initially, it was Scott who contacted my dad. He told us about Tag's situation and needing someone to fill in for him, and they thought I was the perfect one for the job, being at Sunset, track that I've always raced at, and pretty much my home track leading into the stock car side of things. So it was all just really cool and so surreal to be in the Pinty Series where I'd seen my dad and all them racing, and to be sitting in Tagliani's seat they were big shoes to fill for sure.
Well, you almost got your win in your very first start. What would you do differently in that race? Because it gave, once again, the Pinty Series another great finish.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like LP just kind of booted you. So what would you do differently next time?
I've watched the race a few times now, especially the end of it. There's always a shoulda, coulda, woulda. I didn't know what was going to happen going into turn 3. I knew something was going to happen. I knew it wasn't going to be a calm ending. So I went to the top. I made my bet on the top, went up there, and really all I could think that I would do different is push harder through entry to the center of the corner. But I was really just kind of hesitant in the moment of things because all I could see was smoke. I couldn't see any cars spinning or anything stopped on the track. I was really just hoping not to hit any of them. Looking at it, though, I feel like I would have been able to grab the win if I just had a bit more on LP coming out of the corner, because I was kind of just still at his outside door to the point where he could kill my momentum by putting me in the outside wall. And I feel like if I was ahead of him, he wouldn't have been able to do that, and I would have been able to get the drive off the corner.
One of those textbook Pinty Series crazy finishes that you just can't forecast. Like, you have no idea what's going to happen, and that's just what happened.
Yeah.
Aligning with TJ Renomato and Mark Dilley, I see in your videos when you're testing the 64 car at Ducasa and everything. How did that all come to be?
Yeah, the 64 car is my first time in the Pinty's car.
Right.
With Mark and TJ, we always well, I can't say we always, but for the last year or so, we always planned to get me in the Pinty Series.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, we didn't really know which team it was going to be with, just with all the juggling around. And so TJ's been supporting my late model career for a few years now, and really thankful for all that. So getting into Pinty Series with Mark and TJ it's definitely I'm very appreciative of all the support that they've given me, and getting the seat time in the 64 car initially, that definitely helped topping the 18 car too, just because I had that extra experience, because we tested it at Sunset. That's when I was really able to get my feet wet in the Pinty Series and in one of the cars.
And I mean, this, like, in today's world and the climate that economic climate that we're in, that's really what you need, is just someone to actually share your belief and be able to put the faith and the dollars to help you develop your career and stick with you and give you that chance, right?
Yeah, that's really it. I mean, it's really hard to work your way up nowadays, and it's pretty much it's about talking to people, getting with the right people, and thankfully I was able to get aligned with Mark and TJ, and then obviously Wick too joining us. Just it's great to be around such amazing people who believe in me to get to that next level.
Yeah, you have legends surrounding you all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I, for one, would not be opposed. Hey, Tim Hortons, listen, we're not opposed to you coming back and putting your logos on there. If we can get free donuts and coffee at the racetrack, just saying, it's a great marketing idea. So get back with the Lapceviches. That would be awesome. Treyten, one of the big kind of topics of discussion that we see is iRacing and relativity to driving on the track. You are a very, very big iRacer. In fact, I think I've seen more races with you on iRacing than actually in real life. But let's kind of bring it back. Is iRacing the effective tool for getting that experience? Or is it like, there's always talk of the seat of the pants feeling. Is it a good enough tool for Canadians, especially because we don't have a full season of racing into the wintertime? You can't really go out into a racetrack covered in snow to test. So does it help, or does it not really compute?
Well, I think certain aspects of iRacing definitely translate to real life. I'd say some of the driving is maybe a little different, but all the racecraft's still the same. And that's what I typically think is the biggest advantage to iRacing, is just getting to be comfortable around other cars, becoming more comfortable with other lanes, trying different kinds of tracks, such as like the road course and the dirt, like we'll be using with the Pinty series. I mean, I think it's really hard to get it perfect in the long run, but just to have a simulator that is definitely, it's certainly really close with the feel of things. It definitely helps, and it prevents me from going in blind to say the road course racing and the dirt racing and maybe even the future, like the 1.5 mile tracks and stuff like that. So it's all really fun, and something I've been getting into with iRacing too is like the setup part of things. And I think the setup side of things is a big help too, and just in testing and knowing what I'm feeling with the car and being able to make adjustments to account for that.
That's neat to hear like a real world driver perspective and how the iRacing translates to it. I mean, yeah, knowing what you feel and then getting used to the claustrophobia, if you will, of the other cars around you and how you navigate that. That's pretty neat. I would be remiss before this interview is over to ask you about somebody that we both idolize. That's Superman. How do you identify with Superman? Can you tell your Superman story, Treyten?
The Superman thing, it kind of come about with Tom and Ann Walters. One weekend we were at Sunset. Oh, Tom Walters, another legend that I've had around me and helping me come up through the ranks. But yeah, so we were at Sunset one weekend, and I think it might have been my first win in the mini stock division. And also Mason Mitchell won an Iowa ARCA race also the weekend before maybe. And Ann Walters showed me a video of him getting out of the car, and he had the Superman shirt on that he got out of the car, he stood on the door, and he did it. And from there, that kind of, we got a Superman compression shirt, and after that, I just wore it every race basically. I finally grew out of it last year. I think it's the same one I had been using since 2015. So I got to look for a new one this year. It's kind of, I was left without it last season. So
get yourself one of those. You never outgrow them.
I'll definitely use that. So
I got one of those when I was 18, and my mom didn't find it till I was 23. And I think she was more mad about that than the fact that I got it. I never lied to her. I just sort of circumvented the truth. But that's awesome. That's he's the best. I mean, when you're in the Superman conversation, there's nothing else to be decided.
Yeah. I mean, it's great because it adds, you've got tons of nicknames available, man. Now I think Superman Treyten Lapcevich is that's a pretty good nickname to have. And I don't think we see that in racing right now. I mean, that used to, you have the Intimidator, you have all of those.
Superman's Canadian too.
There you go. Perfect. Well, Treyten, we want to thank you for taking time to be on the show today. When the news broke, we were both ecstatic to hear it. To have sponsorship, to have a Lapcevich and somebody of your caliber, especially with, the names that we've seen and we'll continue to see. I don't think that we'll have to wait much longer before we have a Steckley and a Lapcevich fighting once again on the racetrack. Maybe a Sheridan in the future. Who knows who else we'll see. But one thing that we can say is that the future is bright for you, and we're happy and thrilled to see you on the racetrack. So the best of luck this year. Graydon, what do you have to say to Treyten Lapcevich before we end?
As always, on behalf of my boys, thanks for taking the time with them. Thanks for taking the time with us. And I hope, I know it's realistic to think that we're not going to be at the track as fans for the first part of the season, but here's hoping that we get there before the end of it, and hope we can see out there in that sweet black 20 car taking names and kicking butt.
Thank you guys a lot for having me. It was a lot of fun, and hopefully they do get fans to the track. It was really weird last year not having him. So especially in the Pinty series, there's a really big fan base. So it's really cool, and hopefully the fans definitely get back.
Well, it's definitely true. Treyten, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you all for joining us here on the Stickers and Scuffs podcast with Treyten Lapcevich. We will catch you all real soon.